Hello and welcome everybody to the Twins Off Daily podcast brought to you by twinsdaily.com. How the heck are you, Twins territory? Sweet Lou Hennessy here with my two bestest buddies from twinsdaily.com, here to give you all the faux off day goodness that we bring every week here. What's going on, Greg? How are you?
I'm doing well. I hope that all of our listeners are doing well, or at minimum doing a little bit better than Edouard Julien's defense at first base today.
Oh, yes.
Oh, dear.
Very, very good call. I hope people are a lot less messy than that looked. So very, very good call there. We are also joined by Cody Schoenman. What's up, Cody?
Hey, how's it going? I've been thinking about this lately. It's probably not healthy, but so you know how on opening day it's going to be Pablo Lopez versus Sonny Gray? Probably.
Yeah, no, it'll be like 32 degrees in St. Louis for some reason. Yeah, naturally.
So I was thinking this is kind of a question to Greg. If Sonny shoves or if he struggles or whatever happens, if him and Lopez go back and forth, are you going to continue the Sonny side? Are you going to revive that?
Oh, no. Oh, man. Have we ever addressed Occupy the Sunny Side on this show? My 6-episode fan fiction about Sonny Gray telling Rocco Baldelli to get lost when I was at my most unemployed state.
Ooh, I don't think we've talked about it, but you should give us at least some highlights, just a couple, a little run through.
So it was a parody about, how Sonny Gray, was being surly and he was going to finally tell Rocco Baldelli it's time to get lost. Let me think. He was poisoned at one point by Nick Paparesta for stepping out of line. He had a flu game where he had a bad pizza, sort of reminiscent of Michael Jordan. At one point, he had gathered all of the pitchers to meet. He assembled a team who was going to tell Rocco to get lost. He had all 6 of the guys with Louis Varland on the outside looking in. It was raining that night, and he was getting kind of wet outside. You could see it through the window. During that meeting, Tyler Mahle lost his arm and just kept saying, it's okay, I'm good to pitch next week. It's all fine. Those are the types of things you could have seen if you were paying attention to Occupy the Sunny Side about 2 years ago. It's no longer available online, but one day maybe I'll re-release it.
Yeah, I think you oughta. I think you got to re-release it or maybe have some sort of preview in the Greg Media Guide. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
No free ads. The Sunny Side. Wow, I kind of forgot about that, honestly, but you're right. I would love I would love to read another chapter of that. That's for sure. Well, cool. Well, why don't we jump on into our walk-off question here that we'll introduce right now before answering it at the end of today's episode. It is spring break for a lot of colleges and universities, even high schools around the country here. So our question is, which twin would be the best to go on a spring break trip with? I think it's a pretty fun group that you could have some fun with a lot of different folks here. So we will think of our answers. You do the same, and we will meet back at the end of the episode if I remember to bring it up before rolling to the credits. But for right now, let's jump on over to the big inning topic of today's episode, and it is Mailbag. Everybody's favorite Mailbag with Twins Off Daily Pod. I think we're the only local show to do anything of this sort.
Show to ever
only local short. Yep. So really unique. I'm glad we got a good mix of questions. That's for sure. There's some that I'm getting pretty excited to bring up here, but Greg, what do you think? Let's make you the Mailbag host here. You will be the Postmaster General. Where do we start?
Well, I do want to go on a brief tangent and say, it's actually in my blood. My grandfather was the postman not when I was growing up, but when my dad was growing up. So
nice.
I appreciate the nod. It's in my blood to deliver mail.
Love it.
Also, I just want to, again, thank you, everybody. This is the best response that we've gotten to a mailbag call, and we're really excited. So let's start with Tyler, and I apologize I don't know if it's Connors or Coners, but Tyler asks, who do you think will play second base long-term in Minnesota? Keishal, Julian, or Lee? Let's start with Sweet Lou. What do we got here?
Well, I responded to this tweet, actually, and I said justice for Mickey Gasper. How are we forgetting the Mick?
Free Mickey.
Free Mickey. Hashtag free Mickey. Out of those three, I mean, you got to feel pretty comfortable with at least two of those. I gotta think. To me, I think Brooks Lee is really cementing himself there right now. I think, he hit a bomb today. We're recording this on Sunday. He had a pretty big home run. He's looked very comfortable at the plate from both sides, at least to me. Very, very different from what we saw from his 45 whatever games he played in the big leagues last year. So I think it's Lee's spot to handle for the foreseeable future. I don't know. Cody, what do you think?
I agree with you for the most part. I think Lee is going to cement himself at that position. I also think it's likely to just keep platooning and keep kind of like having the revolving door there as long as, at least Falvey and Zoll and Baldelli are here. I think Lee is the most promising of that trio. I mean, Keishel is also very promising as well, but he could be better used at maybe some first base, maybe corner outfield spots, maybe DH too, take on that role. Julian, I'm very low on him. I don't know if he has a long-term outlook with this team. But there still is value with him, obviously. And also, if you look at the guys in the high minors, there's Peyton Eels. He might get some run. I mean, I know he's like a fun underdog story, but I think there is some actual, some good play that Twins could get out of him at the major league level. So there's another guy.
Peyton Eels is going to leapfrog Keishel, Julian, and Lee.
Maybe Julian, but not Lee or Keisha. But I think I agree with Lou mostly, though. I do love Lee at that position long term. I would love if he cemented himself, but I do think they will keep platooning and having guys play there, all throughout the year.
Okay, so I'm going to Frankenstein our answers, Cody. What I'm hearing is a Peyton Eels and Mickey Gasper platoon at second base, long term. Book it, Dano. Greg, what about you, man? And what do you think?
I think I do still like Lee, just because, I don't know, he seems just so much more of a sure thing at second base or just like as a pro. But I'm buying into Luke Keishel hype right now more than what I was kind of feeling like about Lee or Julie in the last two spring trainings. Because like last spring training, it was the year of Lee, and the spring training before that, it was the year of Julie. Like Keishel, oh my gosh, like the video I've been seeing, like his swing looks so pretty. It's so easy to get excited.
He's so polished.
It's amazing. I'm trying not to get too hyped up. I do want to kind of ask a follow-up-ish question. If we think that Brooks Lee is like the long-term fit at second base, and Cody kind of touched on it where maybe they use Keishel elsewhere. Between those two, who do you have more confidence is going to be like a good major leaguer or you're more excited about as a major leaguer? That's not necessarily the second baseman.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. And maybe this is kind of attached to it and we should stick on that for sure. But I was thinking like at what point, because Keishel's probably, we've seen him in kind of the mid top 100 in a lot of global prospect listings. And that's kind of where Brooks Lee kind of peaked at, somewhere around there in a lot of those lists, right? I want to say top 50 by the time he was promoted. At what point does Keishel like leapfrog him? You know what I mean? Right. So, but as far as your question about long-term upside, I love Brooks Lee's kind of the intangibles that he brings, just, his kind of baseball IQ and the acumen, which I know that we've only seen a little. There's only so much we as fans can see from that. But from everything that we've heard about him, being the son of a college coach, that's big too. And I think that if he went into this offseason and made a ton of improvements, whether that's to his swing or his mechanics, whatever, if he comes in and he's, at that next level, I probably trust him long-term more.
And Lee is also very good defensively too. He's a much better defender than Keishel, and that's even with Keishel having the Tommy John surgery. Before that, post Tommy John's gonna be hard for his arm to recover, but that is what it is. But Lee can be a plus second baseman, a plus third baseman, and a plus shortstop. There's tons of value there. Also take into account switch hitting. Keishel kind of has reverse splits. I mean, he's been great against lefties and righties, but he demonstrated much more power against righties last year in the minors. That could just be due to having like a larger sample size against righties. But I mean, it's a really great problem to have. It's a really great thing to debate. Yeah. Where we have these two young guys, early 20s, both could be really great second basemen. Who knows? Maybe Keishel ends up at first, maybe Lee ends up at third because Lewis, has to go somewhere else or something happens there. So it's a good problem. I think both of them will have really bright futures with Minnesota.
Yeah, for sure. And then I want to actually follow that up because it's relevant. The Matt Man at Over the Walner, great name, asked, is Eddie a saint to start the year? So that kind of follows that question. If it seems like we're a little bit higher on Keishel and Lee right now, does that mean Edouard Julien is in St. Paul to start the year? Cody, I'll let you start this one.
Yeah, so I don't think Keishel has any factor on that. I don't. Obviously he's not going to make the club out of spring, but I would say at the beginning of spring training I was pretty confident. But given how good Lee has looked and Castro's looked steady and Mickey Gasper has looked really good, I think I'm kind of waning on Julian's ability to make the 26-man roster out of spring, and I'm probably. I think for me, it's hovering around 50%, if not lower. Like I would give the inside edge to Gasper right now. I don't know. I'm very biased with Julian. Like I just don't see it with him. Maybe I'm the wrong person to ask about this, but I don't think that he's playing at the ability offensively or defensively to support the idea that he deserves a spot over Lee, especially, but also even Gasper at this point. I think Gasper's above him right now, honestly.
Lou, what do you got? The Mickey Gasper fan club leader in the room.
Yes, definitely. Part of Mickey Gasper's appeal too is that they don't have maybe that same devotion to his development that they would certainly for Lee and probably still for Julian. I know even with the downturn in his performance last year, I'm sure they're still very invested in his long-term development. And because of that, I want to say that if Lee is just, outperforms him and wins the job outright, then they would be much better suited to send Julian back to AAA so that he can get everyday playing time at, second and at first. Whereas if he was going to be in the big leagues and Lee was clearly their starter at second, he would be sitting a lot of the time. I know they're going to mix and match. They'll still find ways to start, but still that gets him 3 or 4 starts a week. I think they still want to start Julian. They want to have him playing as much as possible at this point in his career to try to get him back on course. So I think that he does start the year at AAA.
Yeah, I think Lou made a great point where you're comfortable having Gasper sit on the bench for 2-3 days in a row. Like everybody's fine with that.
Sure.
Also, an interesting wrinkle too is Austin Martin. Like he's looked pretty impressive this spring too, and I wonder, because the bench it'll be Vasquez, Bader. Who's the third person? Castro.
Either Castro or Lee, depending on who your second baseman, quote unquote, is.
Yeah, and then could you reasonably pick Martin over Julian or Gasper? I mean, maybe. It's not far-fetched, right?
I mean, this is something that I'm probably going to be writing about at Twins Daily, basically that kind of question that you just asked, Cody, where it's like, is there actually room for both Lee and Julian? So if Lee is your starting second baseman, is there enough time for Edouard Julien to fit in between Brooks Lee and Jose Miranda and Ty France right now? Is there enough time for him to be a starting-ish type player? And I don't know. I don't to that degree. I don't even know if Mickey Gasper isn't redundant on this roster if you've got Lee, Miranda, and France. But at the same time, then you look and you say, oh, well, Austin Martin or Deshaun Kiersey. It's Austin Martin's basically just an outfielder at this point. And so you're looking at now a bench with Martin and Castro and Bader. And it's how much outfield time is there? It's actually a really interesting question what that last spot on the bench is going to be.
Sure.
Yeah, and Bader, I think, nullifies Kiersey's shot at making the team, right? When you say
probably, unless they really just want a bit player where he can pinch run and then they can put together one of the best outfield alignments of all time. If you've got Buxton in center, Bader and Kersey in the corners, that would actually be a lot of fun. Imagine that behind Joe Ryan. Think about that. Okay, cool. Let's move on from the second base question. Let's talk about the starting rotation question. Let's see, who was it? JD over on Blue Sky asked, who is our 5th starter? And let me ask Lou this question. Who is our 5th starter, the Twins' 5th starter?
You know what? I actually think that the Twins aren't going to have a fifth starter until what, like the second or third week of the season. They got a lot of off days mixed in the beginning there. They might be best suited to go with a 4-man rotation to start out the season and have carry an extra reliever possibly. So that's what I'm going to go with. We're not going to know the fifth starter until the second or third week, in which case I bet it'll be Simeon Woods Richardson.
So who would be the 4-man rotation in that case?
Pablo, Joe Ryan, Bailey Ober, and I guess it kind of depends who's on the roster, right?
Well, let's play a quick game. Everybody's favorite game. Is Chris Paddock still a Twin? And as of the 9th of March, despite getting hit in the face by a line drive, Chris Paddock is still with us, and he is still a Twin.
Chris Paddock still a Twin. No joke. Literally, right as this music started playing, I got a notification from the MLB app because I have Twins notifications turned on, and it says, in quotation marks, "That could have been bad. Chris Paddock feels lucky to have avoided serious injury after being struck by not one, but 2 line drives on the mound." So he's still on
the impeccable timing.
Yep, he's still on the Twins roster. He is still on the planet. He is not on the Infinity Day injured list. So yes, Chris Paddock probably rounds out that 4-man rotation for me.
Cody, so Lou, you're saying the 5th guy would probably be Sim. Are you in agreement, Cody?
My 5th starter is David Festa, but the Twins' 5th starter will be Sim, I think. Yes. Okay. I think it will be Sim. And I think they will enter the season with a 5-man rotation too, for what it's worth. And I think Sim will have the spot.
I think that's reasonable. I think that there are a lot of arguments that could be made that David Festa should be like in your opening day roster, quote unquote, given that honor or whatever. He's one of your 5 best pitchers, whatever. I don't have an issue with them deferring to Sim for seniority, I say, about a guy who has like a year of service time. And Festa's going to be up. Like, as long as he's healthy, by the end of, like, I don't know, maybe even April, he might just be in the rotation. Sure. This is baseball.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think Festa could quickly just, like, replace Paddock overall, given performance or injury or something. But, I mean, there is something to rewarding Sim for saving them last year and being like, you know, thank you. Here's an opening day spot. You know, you deserve it.
Of course.
You know, he is still good too. I mean, it's not to say that he's not a good pitcher, but yeah, I think there's something to it.
You're perfectly happy having Simeon Woods Richardson as your 5th starter. Like,
yes.
Most teams, if not all teams in baseball, would just be like, yeah, that's fine. I can deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
JD also, though, asked, who's the best mascot in baseball? There is a wrong answer to this question, for the record. I will start, though, by saying I am partial to Dinger. I think that, I don't know, you guys know me. I'm not for, like, the greatest mascots. I'm for the most, let's just say, unique, I guess, mascots, or maybe the mascots who might be, like, a little bit down on their luck. I think the Dinger is just a hilarious existence of a mascot. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Dinger's, the first day that Dinger was revealed, he actually came out of a dragon or a dinosaur egg on the field. I think that is one of the funniest moments in baseball history.
And we should Dinger, for those who don't know, Dinger is a dinosaur. He's the mascot for the Rockies.
Triceratops for the Rockies, yes.
Okay. That's a great bit coming out of the egg.
I love it. Oh, man. Lou, who's your favorite mascot in baseball?
I absolutely love the bit that the St. Paul Saints do where they have a live piglet at the beginning of each season that they have like a naming contest for. So last year it was Ozempig. This year, I don't know what it's going to be. Squealon Musk. I don't know what it's something like that. So I love the live pig with a different name every year. That's my choice for best mascot in baseball.
What about Cody? What do we got?
You know, I know people love Orbit in the Philly Fanatic, and you know, locally, you know, Bernie the Brewer or whatever his name is. But I am biased, and I'm a big TC Bear fan.
All right, we are cutting Cody off, and we're going to move to the next question before
Straight to
he
jail.
says anything else. Blasphemous, treasonous,
abomination.
No, stop. Quiet. Okay, how about this one? I like this one from TC Nachos. Who will have the most pinch hit at-bats or plate appearances, if you prefer, this season for the Minnesota Twins? Who will have the most pinch hit appearances? Last year, I don't know if you guys know this, but Manuel Margot led the Twins in pinch hitting plate appearances with 35. He did not get a hit, but he did walk 5 times. I don't know if you guys were aware of that.
Well, yes.
But this season, who do we think that's going to be? Cody, I'll let you start with this one.
I think the answer is Harrison Bader, given, just what people's roles are, but he could get a lot of time in left field, and injuries will take place. So I think another interesting guy might be Edouard Julien. If he gets some playing time. Jose Miranda's a good answer too. I think actually I might have just convinced myself that Miranda might be the best answer, actually. But get Mickey Gasper too. But I would say the top 3 candidates are definitely Miranda, Bader, maybe Julien. Castro, but he'll get a lot of time out there too. So I'm going to go with Miranda.
I think that if Mickey Gasper was on the team for the entire year, he would absolutely.
He's a switch hitter too.
Plate appearances.
So, yeah.
Lou, what do you got?
I'd love to say the Mick, love the Mick, but how about this? If we are going under this theory that Mickey Gasper will be part of the club, for this year, what if that means that there's more opportunities for Ryan Jeffers to be a pinch hitter because they have a third line catcher in case something goes terribly wrong and they need to put somebody in a catcher? Maybe Jeffers ends up getting more pinch hit opportunities this year when he's not the starting catcher.
I feel like we're not going to end up getting up to like that 35 number like we had with Margot.
Sure.
I actually do think, though, I feel like if Jose Miranda is doing well, he's going to pinch hit in every game he doesn't start. Or something pretty close to that. I don't know. I think I don't know. It depends on just how committed Rocco is to pinch hitting righties. If it is just like Rocco is just bound and determined to do another Margot, it'll probably be Bader. But I don't know. I feel like it might be Jose Miranda.
And Miranda has reverse splits, and he's good against lefties. So it kind of is like the platonic ideal of a pinch hitter, right?
Yeah, I think that could be fun.
Yeah.
Shayla, Commissioner Shayla asks, what does everybody else think about chocolate milk? And that question has the word else because if you guys aren't on Twitter, I got in a little bit of trouble earlier this week for tweeting that chocolate milk is for children. I'm going to stick to that take. If you are drinking chocolate milk as an adult, you need to grow up. But I know I upset a lot of people. I lost followers. At one point, somebody said, I've respectfully interacted with you and I've disagreed with you, but this is the last straw. Goodbye. And he actually just unfollowed me, which is amazing. You know what? I do it for the love of the game. Lou, what's your take on chocolate milk?
Oh, I find chocolate milk to be delightful. I have a good time with it. Maybe you're right that it was originally for kids, but oh man, I am all in on the chocolate milk, especially after a nice workout. Man, I'm all there for it.
Cody, are you on the right side of history?
Yeah, I don't ever think about or drink chocolate milk. Like it never.
I don't think about chocolate milk. What an amazing statement.
You bringing this up was the first time I thought about it, probably like in months. Like I don't ever.
So maybe I'm the more childish one, the one that I actually brought up chocolate milk. You hadn't even thought about it in months.
Well, I mean, actually, that's
which
not
is
true.
incredible working at a school.
No, I was going to say that's not true because I do see it every lunch period at my school. So that's not true. I mean, I've seen it. I guess I haven't thought critically about it. A lot of the kids love it, but they're middle schoolers, so I guess it kind of proves the point, right? I mean, if you're an adult and you're seriously drinking chocolate milk, like it's a lot of saturated fat and sugar, like that's not good for adults, right? So yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, I'm on your side, Greg. I'm on your side.
Hang on, I'm just thinking about I have to set a reminder for myself to make an edit of that Mad Men meme from the elevator scene when John Hamm talks to the guy. He's like, I don't think about you at all, but it's Cody saying that to chocolate milk.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
I do like chocolate protein shakes. Like those are good, but that's not chocolate milk.
Bro?
No.
Okay.
It can be plant-based, I guess.
This is me enlisting your help on this. I do an award show every year for spring training awards, like cliches like who's got the newest pitch and who has the most revamped swing or who took the grainiest video through a fence as a beat writer. One of our questions, and this lines up with like my pride, like my number one award every year, is the Miguel Sano best shape of his life award. And so Turtle Duck asks, who's in the best shape of their career this spring training? And so I might be crowdsourcing your answers to help me answer this question for my award show. I think the biggest deal has been made of Yohan Duran. Lost 12 pounds and 12 miles an hour on his fastball. Please don't yell at me, Mrs. Duran. But have there been any other like stories come out about some guy in great shape that I've missed?
Yeah, I mean, outside edition, Ty France, I think there's been something about him looking good. You know, he's looked really good at the plate, but also his, you know, his body composition. Royce Lewis is more loose, right? Like he's lost some weight. He's more loose. He's kind of back to California high school Royce Lewis. So I don't know. Those are the two guys though that I've
does shedding muscle, like, is that the same thing as being in good shape? Getting less muscular?
Did he shed muscle? Is that? Or
I think that was part of it. Was he reduced his weight training?
It's probably a good thing, right? Like, don't you think? I mean, I don't know, but I have to ask.
I mean, it's not like he was at the point where he's one of those guys who can't touch his ears, you know. Lou, have you seen any other storylines? Our resident guy who shows up in the clubhouse sometimes.
Yeah, no, I haven't been there. I have not been down there. So I'm going off the same information that you peasants are. And I will probably go ahead and say I'll go with Royce Lewis too, especially just because he's looked really comfortable at the plate. And, you know, like we said, we saw a little bit of a story about some of the different conditioning and stuff that he was doing. So I'll say that he's in the bestest shape of his life right now.
I like that. Let's do, we've got two more, I think is fine. First of all, Dave Brown asks, what does this mean for Christian Vazquez? And I think that that's the question on everybody's mind. I don't have an answer. I don't think we've ever answered that question. I don't know if will we ever have an answer? I don't know. Great unsolved mysteries in Twins history. What does it mean for Christian Vazquez? And then the last one, and I don't know if we're equipped to answer this one, but Michael Rath asked, why do the Twins only employ short kings at first base? And it's something that I've also asked as an anti-short king guy who thinks that short kings are, I don't know, stealing valor. There's some legs to this this question. We were talking before the show about like the players who have played first base for the Twins. If you added them up, you probably would have an average height below 6 foot, which is just like subhuman, right? So like Donovan Solano, Luis Ariz, Edouard Julien, Carlos Santana, all of those guys played a ton of first base over the last few years for the Twins. And are not like they are like some of them are like lying to get to 5'8". Tall guys that they had over there were Miguel Sano, Joey Gallo, I don't know, Jordan Luplow, CJ Cron a few years back,
Joe Mauer.
I don't know. Like I think it's probably just because they just stick anybody at first base, and most of the guys are not tall. But yeah. I do wonder, like, why isn't Trevor Larnach or Matt Wallner or Carson McCusker taking some balls at first base?
That'd be fun. That'd be fun to see. First of all, I want to ask both of you. I'm going to start with Cody for obvious reasons. What's the cutoff for short king? When do you graduate from being a short king to average king, whatever you want to call it?
I don't know. Like, so I'm like 5'10", 5'11", but on Tinder, historically, I've been 6'6",
I'm sure.
So,
Yep.
I don't know. I mean Peyton Eales is a short king. He's 5'5".
Yes.
Jose Altuve is a short king. Alex Bregman in real life is a short king. I mean like under 5'10", right? Probably, right? For my sake, under 5'10" is probably a short king.
Okay, so as 5'9", I'm 5'9".
Okay.
Am I? I'm right there. I'm like king of the short kings, right? I'm not quite graduated, but I'm at the top of that pile, is what you're saying.
I wouldn't call you a short king though. It's what do you think, Greg? Being a tall king, what do you think?
I don't know. I think the cutoff line for short king is like 6'2", and not like a baseball 6'2". Have you guys ever seen the histogram of like baseball player heights, where there are like no players who are listed at 6'1"? It's like you're either 6 foot, which means you're like 5'9" or 5'10" or 5'11". Like there's this huge spike at 6 foot, and then it drops back down at 6'1", and then spikes right back up at 6'2". So I'm talking like a real 6'2". I'd say like anyone below 6'2" is a short king. Anybody below, I don't know, 5'10" is, we need to, I don't know.
What is the global average height for an adult male? I bet it's like 5'7". I bet it's
like
shorter
5'9", I believe. Or no, in
Producer
the US,
Lenny,
it's 5'9".
Producer
5'9"
Lenny,
with a standard deviation of 3 inches.
5'7.5".
In the world or in the US?
In the world, according to Healthline.
Okay.
In the US,
the US is 5'9". Yep.
Okay. All right.
With a standard
Average
deviation of 3 inches. So I mean, 5'9", what we on the streets, Cody might know this too, us Zoomers, 5'9" is average, which is just another name for mid. Mid kings? Oh no.
Oh boy.
Oh dear.
So you're calling me and Lou mid?
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to be at the like 100 to 101 W Short King Plus rating. It's weighted in Minnesota, so I'm just slightly above.
I have a triple-digit weighted Short King Plus.
It depends. It depends, right? It's weighted.
Oh yeah, I mean, but like if you're comparing to Minnesotans, that's if you're like league adjusted average to Minnesotans, you've probably got a double-digit W
Short King Plus.
SKP.
WSKP.
SK plus, whatever. Okay, cool. I think there's a couple questions that we didn't get to. We ran out of time. I do want to just say again, thank you guys. This was awesome. Actually, I do want to give a shout out to one question we didn't get to because it came in like 20 minutes ago. Shout out Rye Lang, asked Eddie versus Gasper thoughts. And we got to that. So good for you, Rye.
We all heavily lean Gasper.
Always.
I think that we got to every person who asked a question. We did not get to everybody's multiple questions, but this was fun. This was good. Thank you all for that. What do we have next? I don't usually run the show, and it goes too long.
You did a good job hosting that as the postmaster general of our mailbag segment here. So we are going to boogie on down to our next segment, which is everybody's favorite. It's Gregory's Gripes. Okay, so this is everybody's favorite segment, Gregory's Gripes. Greg always has something bothering him, something tearing him up inside. This is his chance to get it off his back. Greg, the floor is yours.
So this is like a very standard boilerplate gripe that a lot of people have, especially if you fly frequently. But I encountered something that was so, I don't know, like I'd never seen it before. Okay, so there's like bad people on a plane. When the plane lands and you stand up, you're a bad person, right?
Yes.
Like we all agree on that. However, like on the other side of that distribution, there are other bad people who just like take forever to leave the plane.
Yes.
And so, it takes them 15 seconds to pull their bag down from the overhead. And then you look and you see it's actually a backpack, which should have been under the seat in front of you in the first place. Like, I don't know. It seems like some people have never, been on a plane before. It's just very annoying. This is a very standard gripe that a lot of people have. However, last time that I flew, it was so bad that the flight attendants had to come over the intercom thing and say, if you guys don't move fast enough, the plane will tip over. We have too much weight in the back. We need to keep moving. Everybody is stuck in the back. If we don't move any faster, it will just tip over. And I don't know about you guys, but I've been hearing about a lot of planes that have tipped over lately. We did not want that. But even after giving that warning, they still had to come on again and say, guys, move. And I don't know if I've ever had an encounter like that where it was people were moving so slow that the flight attendants had to scold them and say the plane is going to tip over and people are going to get injured if you guys don't move your butts.
Yeah.
So that's my gripe. I thought that was a funny little bit.
You know what? It was probably a couple short kings blocking up the whole line. Right, Greg?
Probably couldn't get up to get their bags,
Those 6'1" short kings couldn't reach their bags up there. They're taking too much time.
Hey, Greg, do you know where that problem doesn't happen?
Where the problem doesn't happen. What problem?
On
the train, you communist.
On trains.
Hey, buddy. I'm not trying to spend my entire day doing a cross-country Amtrak. Come on now.
Cross-country?
Do you think I am? Communist Russia?
Comrade. Nice. Okay, well good. Good gripe. I like that. We actually had somebody who, when we requested some questions for the mailbag, they said, this isn't a question, but I think that there should be a segment called Gregory's Gripe Scrapes for when we don't like Greg's gripe, whatever he brings to the table. And we're like, you just thought of that, or we're not on board with it. Cody and I are going to have a Gregory's Gripes gripe. But I don't feel that way today, at least. I kind of liked that gripe because I have definitely felt that too.
No. I make a concerted effort to rebuttal everything he says. So
yes.
I have wanted to go back and try and compile all of the gripes because this is episode 33 of the show. And I think that we skipped it. Like when we did episode 0, I think we skipped Gregory's gripes. That was episode 2 bit or a first episode bit. I want to compile a list of all of the things I've griped about, if only because I want to make sure that I'm not double griping anything. But when I compile that list, I want to send it to you all so you can have a list of gripes you disagreed with. In episode 16, what was this about?
We should do an audit at the end of the season of going through your gripes real quick one by one. Be like, good, bad, good.
Amazing.
Nice. Okay. Right. Well, thank you very much for that gripe, Greg. But while we still have a little bit of time on the clock here, let's boogie on down to the closer. Okay, so we are going to play an edition of Stump the Schoen. So for those of you who don't know what Stump the Schoen is, Greg is actually going to be playing the host for this game today, and he came up with a category for Cody and I to go one by one and try to name all the answers from that category. And if I can stay in the game longer than Cody, I have officially stumped the Schoen. Am I missing anything with that?
No, Greg beat me last time, so you got to continue the trend.
Oh, geez. Okay, that's some pressure. That's some pressure for sure. Greg, tell us about this week's category.
Okay, so this week's category, this might be the easiest category we've ever had. We have never reached the end of a list on Stump the Schoen, no matter what. Even in the episodes where Cody had the list in front of him, we still could not reach the end of the list. So I've got one that might be our best chance at finally finishing a list.
Okay.
I think that the first 15 names on this list are going to be easy, as long as you don't forget anybody. But I think that the last 2 are maybe going to stump the Schoen and the Sweet Lou. Okay. So here's the category. The 17 players who hit at least one home run in the 2019 Bomba Squad season. You have, and I think we introduced this last time we played, I'm okay with you having 3 misses.
Okay, 3 strikes per person?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, 2019.
Okay. I'll give you guys a couple seconds to organize your thoughts, make any notes if you need to make notes.
It was a good year. It was a fun year. I will say that. That was fun.
It's very memorable. There are 17 different players who hit bombas during that year.
At least one home run.
At least one home run.
All right.
And I'm not going to last time we kept a list so that we could keep track, because this one is really straightforward. I'm not keeping a list. If you suggest somebody who's already been suggested, that's a strike. All right. Okay. Ready?
No, not ready. Not ready. Not ready. I'm thinking piensa.
While Lou writes, I will say, remember how we talked about like we're going to name the best twin like with a number that corresponds with their episode? Remember when we So 33 is pretty clearly Justin Marneau, right?
JC Romero.
Tommy Malone.
Also, Martin Perez wore it too.
Oh.
Speaking of Bomba Squad.
Oh, man. Shout out JC Romero. Made Justin Marneau wear 27 for the first season.
Yeah.
Couple seasons.
That I feel like that should be in your collection, Greg.
Oh, my gosh. That's, you know what? Maybe I will. I'm out actually every jersey from that era would be a duplicate at this point, but maybe I'll get it. Maybe I'll get a duplicate. All right, let's go.
All right, let's do it.
This is bad radio.
Let's do it.
All right. Start with Cody, the Schoen. Give me a name. Who hit a dinger on the 2019 Bomba squad?
Mitch Garver.
Mitch Garver, yes.
I'll say Byron Buxton.
Byron Buxton, yes, had 10. Garver had 31. Buxton had 10. Cody.
CJ Cron.
CJ Cron at 25. Lou.
Should the Twins sign Miguel Sano?
Miguel Sano at 34. Cody.
Jonathan Schoop.
Jonathan Schoop had 23, a sneaky 23 dingers. Lou.
I'll say Nelson Cruz.
Nelson Cruz, 41. Cody.
Sorry. Jorge Polanco. That was
Jorge Polanco. All-star shortstop, 22. Lou.
Say Luis Arraez.
Luis Arraez had 4. Cody.
Max Kepler.
Max Kepler at 36. Lou.
Oh boy, I'll go with Willians Astudillo, La Tortuga.
Tortuga, 4 of them himself. All right, Cody.
Eddie Rosario.
Eddie Rosario at 32. You've now named the top 8. Everybody.
We've only gotten through 8.
Yeah.
No, sorry. The top 8 are now off the board. Everybody who's still on the board has 15 or fewer.
Okay. 15 or fewer. That's still a lot.
There are 6 names left.
I will say Marwin Gonzalez.
Marwin Gonzalez had 15.
Okay.
Cody.
Jason Castro.
At 13. All right. Now everybody left is in single digits. We have 4 more names.
Oh, 2019. What a year. Ryan Lamar.
Ryan Lamar had 2. Oh my gosh. That was one of the 2 names that I didn't think we were going to get. Okay. We've got 3 left. Cody.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's who I was going to say. Lamont Wade.
Lamont Wade. Oh my gosh. Those were the 2 that I thought might stump you guys. We have 2 left though.
Oh, 2019. I'm going to have to take a strike. I'm out. I'm gassed.
Lou, come on now. Cody, what have we got?
Did we already say Jake Cave?
We did not say Jake Cave.
Okay.
We've got 1 left.
Can I exchange one of my strikes for a clue?
No.
Okay. I'm afraid I'm out. I got nothing left.
Cody, do we have an answer?
Can I throw an answer out and then can we get a clue?
Yeah, if you want to, yeah.
Okay. All right. To throw a name out there, I will go with Nico Goodrum.
Nico Goodrum was a Tiger that year.
Okay. All right.
No. Okay. There is 1 name left. You guys are you've each named, actually no, Cody's I think named 9 and Lou's named 7.
Yep.
Whoever can get this last name, I'm good saying that you win.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
All right. So this hitter had 5 home runs.
Okay. Here, let me marinate on that first.
Yeah. Oh, 5.
Yeah, that's decent amount. Actually, yeah.
I'm out.
This guy played first base. He also played left field this year.
This year? Oh, in 2019.
In 2019.
Is he still in the league?
No.
Okay. I got one. Adrianza?
Yes, my next clue was going to be he is still in the Twins organization. Adrianza, yes. I think you both lost, but Lou's going to take the win, if for no other reason than to keep Cody winless in any game we've ever played.
How does it feel to get stumped?
I won. I won in my own mind, so you can't tell me otherwise.
There you go.
Yeah, I thought that. So basically, like the 9 starters: Jason Castro, Marwin Gonzalez, Jake Cave, and Adrianza, and Luis Ariz. I thought were going to be pretty straightforward getting to. Lamar and Wade, I thought was going to be the 2 names that stumped you. I thought somebody was going to say Tyler Austin at some point.
All right.
He did not homer as a Twin, at least that year. All right. So we didn't make it, y'all. Even with the easiest one, I think I could have come up, or that we've done so far, we still couldn't. Yeah. Who gave us a podcast? Who said these guys know enough ball?
Yeah, come on now. All right. Well, hey, that was a good one. Greg, thank you very much for finding that category. I always love those kind of blasts from the past, even if it was just 6 years ago. So that was fun. But let's boogie on down. We'll talk about our walk-off question. I actually remembered this time. Cody actually came up with this one. That was, which Twin would you want to go on a spring break trip with? Let's start with you, Cody. Anybody come to mind?
I always thought it'd be fun to visit like Puerto Rico. Also given, the fact that I don't have a passport.
Yeah.
So, Carlos Correa has a lot of money. I feel like he'd be fun to go down there with. Vasquez has a lot of money too. I know they're both from Puerto Rico. So, but I'm gonna go with Correa based off the fact that he has a bunch of money that can be spent on fun things.
Okay, I'm gonna say Harrison Bader. I could see the 2 of us playing some like beach volleyball in our crop tops together. I think he'd be a fun partner there. So I'm going with Harrison Bader.
I think I'm going to go. I know Edouard Julien loves to party. We've got.
How do you know that?
We've got photo evidence.
Oh, okay.
And, Alabama crime reports or Louisiana, whatever. Where did he go to college? I don't even remember.
Auburn. We have seen that man cry on picture.
There we go. I don't know. I feel like Ty France is a bro. I think that it would be fun. I don't know. Sure. I don't know. I'm not one for spring break. I've never done a spring break, so
yeah.
Neither have I.
Yeah. We're the wrong crew. They would not get us.
We spent our spring breaks playing sports.
You can go with Ty France to Paris to see the catacombs. That'd be cool, right?
Parisian catacombs. You go down there, especially if you're looking for a cask of Amontillado, you might never come back.
You do drink a lot of wine, Greg. So that is.
What does that even mean?
He's drinking wine in the story, and then that's how he makes him vulnerable. I'm an English teacher, Greg.
Yeah,
I know that. I was calling out to you.
All right. Well, I'm calling out to the listeners. Listeners, who do you want to go on a spring break trip with from the Minnesota Twins? Let us know. But until next time, real quick, Cody, Greg, do you guys have anything that you want to promote that you're throwing up on Twins Daily recently or in the near future?
I had a piece come out while we were recording. It was, what would a Iverson Castellanos trade look like with the Phillies? Interestingly, the last post Rule 5 draft swap between the team and between the drafting team and the original team happened in 2019, and it happened 3 times. I don't know why it's happened since, but all of those trades were either cash considerations or a player to be named later. So
okay,
seems like that's what it might look like with Philly if it happens.
Okay, well, I hope so. That'd be kind of cool. Greg, how about you? Anything?
Like I mentioned, I'm working on something, thinking about like if there's any playing time for Edouard Julien. I've also got a piece that I've been working on a couple of weeks where I'm looking at like what the Twins lineup would look like if they lost all of their starters, like an exercise to kind of see their depth and where they have a lot of depth and where they don't, and what that team could look like. Could it like stay afloat for a month in August?
Cool.
So
nice.
Working on that. What about you, Lou?
Oh no, me? Of course not. No, I keep it all ready for the podcast here. So keep an eye on the Twins Off Daily podcast, and we will we'll go from there. But thank you everybody who submitted mailbag questions. We really appreciate that. We will make sure to keep doing those because this is a really fun episode that we look forward to. So we will do those. And we will be back next week at the Twins' next off day. But until then, thank you, everybody, and stay sweet.